How's everybody doing? And thanks for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, and brand new 2023 Ford Super Duty XLT trim F250, like what you're looking at right here. Again, this is a 23 Super Duty in the XLT trim fashion. And in the front of it right there, we've got our thin X in amber white. We mount that on the grille, and we use the 90-degree bracket right behind the grille to secure it. So two thin X, two 90-degree brackets, goes through the honeycomb portion of the grille there, and it's very easy to install. Run the wiring right up underneath the hood, leave a little slack, head to your auxiliary switches, which, by the way, this is ran off auxiliary switch number 6 on this particular truck, but you can feel free if you need to pick up some extra parts, a switch and a fuse and some wire if you don't have auxiliary switches. We might populate this kit with a 25-foot piece of 16-2 and a switch and a fuse kit for those who do not have factory switches. But for those that do, you can feel free to run it off of the factory switches. Now, looking along the side of the truck there, you can see that 4-inch mpower amber white on the forward step there on the bed. We've got that set on the factory pattern. That's how they come right out of the box. It's a triple flash alternating color. Works real well for the side warning there. Here you can see a little closer. You can also see a plethora of weather guard equipment, including a fuel tank and a headache rack and some toolboxes and a pump that we installed as well. If you need any equipment like that locally, make sure to hit us up. Also, hit us up for any of your door logo needs. We do that as well. So we can take care of your truck and get it in a one-stop shop kind of situation where you drop it off and we do everything. Again, in front of that rear tire on that step is a 4-inch mpower amber white in the standard pattern that it comes right out the box with, triple flash on each color alternating. As I work our way around the back of this truck, you can see it does have mid-level tail lights. You can tell it has mid-level taillights from the crisp and bright white LED that is the reverse light, as well as the black band through the center of the taillight. That's a dead giveaway that mostly it is a mid-level tail. So, given it's a mid-level tail, we can have our plug-and-play auto flasher kit to alternate flash the reverse lights like that. Now, keep in mind, on a 2023 Super Duty, I believe we are the only ones currently able to alternate flash the reverse lights, as you see here. So, if alternation is important to you, make sure you get the Wicked Warnings Auto Flasher plug-and-play kit for those middle-level Super Duty tails. If you have other Super Duty tails, take a look at our website for more options. Below that is a 3-inch amber mpower. Now, that's set on a pattern called warp. I let the white be the alternating, and I set up the amber as a warp, just a fast single flash. I like setting it up like that because it seems to give a good mix and really accents the white alternation as well. So that's why we set it up like that. Here you can kind of see what I'm talking about when I zoom in. The bold white alternation with a nice solid, slightly aggressive single flash on the amber below it. Now, of course, as I come around this side, it's hard to show, but you can see the amber white 4-inch that's matching on the passenger side step in front of the bed, just the same as the other side, so we have uniformity. So let's get to the boring part. Let's talk a little bit about wiring and what we're going to put in this kit and how we wired it. So we're going to start firstly on the driver's forward step. That's light number 1, 4-inch mpower amber white. We're going to include a 15-foot piece of 18.5. That's going to go from that light up over the wheel well, or along inside the frame if you prefer, to the rear corner light, that 3-inch amber mpower on the driver's bumper corner. At that point, we're going to cut the wire and we're going to attach it to that light. We're going to also attach the remaining wire to that light. We're going to carry that over to the driver's step, or I'm sorry, to the passenger step. So it's kind of a daisy chain situation. The plug and play reverse kit is going to have plugs on it. It's going to come with everything you need, so that's going to go very easily. The module installs behind the passenger tail light. The 18.5 runs forward along the passenger frame, and one other wire goes right over to the driver's tail light. Plug and play connections at the tail light, so super easy. Again, we're going to start that 18.5 on the forward light driver's side. We're going to jump to the rearward driver's mpower 3-inch. We're going to jump over to the passenger rearward amber 3-inch mpower, and then we're going to then go with the 30-foot. So you're going to get a 15-foot and a 30-foot piece of the 18.5. And the reason being is that 30-foot piece is then going to go from the passenger corner bumper right up to the passenger forward light, and from there all the way to the auxiliary switch. The reason I'm giving you the 18.5 is so that you can synchronize the mpower lights if you desire. You can use the flood feature on the mpower if you desire. If you wanted to swap those rear ones for an amber white, you could also have flood back there if you desire. You could flood the auto flasher reverse flasher too if you wanted. If you wanted to use two auxiliary switches, you could have a flood white on the reverse lights and all of the M-Powers, even the Thin X up front also, all capable of flood white in an amber white config. So that's why I'm giving you the 18.5. If you're just using it for flashing only, you probably only use the red and the black. You might not use the sync or the pattern or any of that, and that'll be up to you as the installer. You have a lot of freedom to kind of install as you wish. Now, up front, we've got two Thin X, and we're going to go ahead and throw 30 feet of 22.5 in there for those two Thin X. Now, that's going to be a little bit extra length if you're using auxiliary switch, because we want to give you the extra length to get into the cab of the truck through the firewall if you don't have factory switches. So if you do have factory switches, you'll have a little extra 22.5, and you could use that on a future project. You want to also leave a little bit of slack behind the grill for in case you want to remove that grill, you could leave the lights attached and free up that slack in the wire. So that's a good method there, instead of trying to put a 5-wire connector under the grill, is to just leave about 30 inches of slack, so you could remove that grill and set it down and do whatever work you needed to do without actually cutting the wiring for the grill lights. So that's what you're going to get in the front there. As I said, we're going to throw a fuse kit, some 16.2 and a switch in here for the fellas that don't have factory switches. For the fellas that do, I'd still urge you to use that fuse kit, but you don't have to if you don't want to, but I would definitely recommend it on the auxiliary switches, because this whole system right now is running off of a 15 amp fuse, and again, it's on switch 6, which is fused factory much higher. So I put the fuse kit there regardless. I hope you like this simple and quick package for the 2023 Super Duty F250 and the XLT trim line. If you have a different trim line, take a look at some of our other packages or email in some photos of your vehicle and we'll try to match you up with something that fits. If you have any questions at all on this or the contents, please reach out before purchasing, and you can modify the contents. So feel free to add or subtract whatever you like. Again, reach out via email if you have any questions. Link to the build you're thinking about discussing. That way we can look at it and make sure we see the same thing you did. And we'll take care of any confusion prior to ordering. Thanks again for watching Wicked Warnings. I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash that like, drop a comment, do a share, and we'll see you on the next video.